Hello, welcome back once again. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you my views on group discussion. Especially, I'll be talking about certain tips related to effective group discussion. So, let me take you to the roadmap of my presentation. So, first, I'll be dealing with the concept of group discussion. Second, I will share with you the different types of group discussion topics. And third, I will also give you certain tips for effective participation in group discussion. So let me take you to the first topic, that is the concept. So group discussion involves a group of participants who discuss on a particular topic that is provided given to them as a part of the selection process. Now, when this topic is given, it is expected that each participant they come forward with the factual information that they have gathered so far and also provide opinion about the particular topic and arrive at a conclusion. So most of the time the group discussion is timed, and this time limit is decided by the evaluators who will decide the time on the basis of the size of the group as well as the purpose for conducting the group discussion. Sometimes the evaluators could vary on the basis of the purpose of conducting the group discussion. So normally a group discussion takes place between 15 to 20 minutes, and sometimes the evaluators, however, could extend the time to 30 minutes. So, nevertheless, all the participants have to be prepared, for the group discussion, and they not only they have to prepare regarding the time limit, but they also have to prepare from the perspective of collecting information about the topics could vary from general topics, that is topics that we come across in a day-to-day conversation or in a day-to-day communication process. Also, the topics could be related to the current affairs, and it could be related to the sports, entertainment sector, and so on. So one should be widely read, and one should definitely prepare in such a way so that they can participate and defend themselves, and also try to convince others regarding the viewpoint that they are sharing with the participants. So having said this, let us now move on to the different types of group discussion topics. So, first could be the factual group discussion topics. The second could be the opinion based group discussion topics. The third would be the case study based group discussion topics. The fourth could be the controversial topics. And the fifth could be the abstract topics. Now, let us deal with each one of them in greater detail. So, factual group discussion topics are basically practical topics, and the candidates are judged on the basis of the information that they have gathered about this particular topic from various sources, like, for example, the magazines, the newspapers, the media, and so on. And not only provide information, but they also have to analyze the information that they have gathered and present their ideas in front of the other participants. So let us take an example. So we have an example over here: education policy of India. So it is expected that the candidate or the participant should have adequate knowledge about the education policy of India, and this information has to be presented in such a way so that it is convincing or it is acceptable to all. So you can even try to provide statistical data or data that could be quantified or that is quantified. So in a way, you are providing evidence related to the analysis that you have done, and on the basis of the analysis, you are coming forward with your viewpoint. So it is important that when you are providing statistical information, that you do not manipulate this information for your own benefit. Rather, you present the information as it is. So if there is any kind of manipulation, there is a possibility that evaluators might notice this, and therefore the process of selection could reverse. That is, you may not be selected for the next round. So one has to be very careful when dealing with such group discussion topics, that unless and until you're very sure about the information that you have collected, it is better not to provide evidences that is based on some memory, or it is based on some idea that you had about this particular topic. So there could be so many other topics such as tourism in India, state of the aged in the nation. So now let us move on to the opinion-based group discussion topics. Now opinions-based group discussion topics merely find out how opinions are put forward. So here, it is less about facts, it is more about opinion. So the way you present your opinion, so your communication skills is being tested, your fluency is being tested, and your ability to convince others is also being tested. So let us go look at some examples over here. So first we have democratic versus authoritarian leadership. So whether you consider democratic leadership as the best type of leadership style or the authoritarian leadership style will finally depend on what is your opinion. And this opinion most of the time is based on the factual information that you have read about from different sources. So therefore, the opinion should be based on factual information, but then your opinion has to be presented in a particular way. That is, you have to present your opinion with conviction. That means you believe in what you say and you're not going to deviate from your belief. And so if there is any deviation from your belief, or if you're hesitant, to express yourself, obviously, the evaluators will reject you. So one has to be again very firm in one's decision, or should be able to defend and should be able to convince others to accept your opinion, and thus get selected in the group discussion. So having said this, let us now move on to the next type of group discussion, that is case study based group discussion topics. Now case study based group discussion topics, actually they stimulate real life situations, that is based on real life problems or real life situations. The case studies are given, or the case studies are framed, and they are basically hypothetical situations, where it is expected that the participants they look at this situation from different perspectives of different angles, and they arrive at a particular solution. So when you're looking at the problem from different angles, you have a better understanding of the problem, and you will be able to judge what could be the best solution in this particular situation, considering what could be the pros and cons of each perspective that you have already come up with. So this is a very good way of judging, the analytical skills of the participants and the critical thinking skills of the participants, and also your ability to think from different perspectives. So your cognitive ability is also being tested. So having understood this, let us look at some examples. So social media is helping to spread fake news. So this could be a case study topic. So now when we look at social media that is helping to spread fake news, to a certain extent it is right. But then if we look at from another perspective, we can find out, like various ways even social media has been helping people, not only to reach out to a large number of people, but also, during the times of the pandemic, we were able to communicate with each other through social media. Otherwise, sitting at home, it could have been really a very difficult moment for us. And at the same time, sometimes, when social media is used to spread, some news, some rumors, which may not be based on factual information. So one has to, again, try and find out, whether it is derived from some factual information. So we have to cross check rather than believing everything what social media says. In this way, the analysis can go on. So looking at the topic from different perspectives definitely help us to understand the topic better, understand the entire case in a much better way, or understand the problem in a much better way. And so therefore the solution that we arrive at will be a very logical solution. So having understood this, there could be very various examples. I have come up with these examples. There could be many more examples related to case study group discussion topics. So now let us move on to the next type of topic, that is the controversial topics. The controversial topics are basically argumentative in nature, because they are controversial in the sense Nothing is right and nothing is wrong. They are controversial because, I mean, you cannot be very firm with one particular perspective. So it is argumentative. The other people can argue and prove that he or she is right. So that is basically to generate controversy. So what do the evaluators look into the participants? They evaluate the participants not only from the perspective of their communication skills, that is the ability to put forward their ideas and to defend themselves, but also they try to find out to what extent you are able to be firm and be assertive till the end of the discussion. So without showing your emotions, so you have to have a cool frame of mind without depicting your emotions, without becoming emotional. If you are able to put forward your ideas logically and in a way try to prove others wrong, then obviously you get selected for the next round. The noise level could be very high in this type of topics. Ability to defend oneself is something which is very important in this type of topics, and one has to be firm in his or her decision, or in his or her selection, or of the viewpoint or selection about his opinion. So let us look at some examples. So examples like demonetization, is it justified? Now this is a topic that some people would say in favor of, that it is justified. Some people would say that no, they disagree with this topic, it is not justified. So therefore one has to be very clear as to which perspective they choose, because depending upon that they have to continue with that same perspective till the end of the discussion. So these are the other examples that you have for the controversial group discussion topics. Now let us move on to the abstract topics. The abstract topics are intangible topics, and the candidates are judged on the basis of handling the topic, on the basis of the lateral thinking, that is thinking out of the box ideas, and also on the basis of the creative thinking. So the abstract topics are basically tend to test the communication skills and the ability to have the presence of mind, or rather to come with an instant solution in the particular topic. So anything can be given from the color red to the color white, or you could be given topics related to the food items that you consume in your day-to-day life. For example, bread, butter, you could have cheese, and so on. Or it could be related to topics like this, like smart work versus hard work. So these abstract topics, they are very interesting because they want to test how the candidate can think, be imaginative and think differently, and come up with, associate his or her ideas to the current situation, to the current topic. And one has to be well read, as I told you, in group discussion. So these are some other topics for abstract topics. And now let us move on to the tips that I would tend to give for participating effectively in group discussion. Such as these are the certain do's, that is, certain things that one should do while participating in a group discussion. That is, one should be a good listener. Then we have to maintain eye contact with all the participants, rather than constantly look at one particular participant and stare at the participant. Then third, one should allow others to speak. So we should give an opportunity for everyone to communicate, or everyone to participate in the group discussion, and we should encourage the other participants to be a part of the group discussion. So if there is a participant who is shy, who is reluctant to enter into the discussion, so proper motivation has to be given to that particular participant so that they can enter into the discussion. And not only that, you should also be able to politely disagree if the viewpoint of the other participants, in the sense you have to first of all acknowledge and appreciate the viewpoint that is shared by the other participant. But if you want to disagree, you have to politely disagree. However, I would like to disagree with whatever you have said, in this manner. And then one should also dress professionally when you're participating in group discussion, and you have to support your point. That is, you have to provide evidence to your point, and you have to welcome counter arguments, because then the group discussion becomes interesting. So you should encourage the other participants to come up with their viewpoint. So even if it is something very different from what you are discussing, but still, if they come up with different points, that becomes a very interesting part of the discussion. Then you have to prepare yourself for the group discussion. Without preparation, it is impossible to participate in a group discussion effectively. So one should be very systematic, very logical while participating in a group discussion. And for that, you not only require preparation, you also require practice in group discussion. Then you should be able to initiate the conversation. So it is not that you wait for all the time for the others to come to initiate the conversation. If you have the right kind of information, if you feel confident about the information that you have, you can start with a group discussion and you can initiate the conversation and welcome the others to be a part of the group discussion. So having understood that what one should do while participating in group discussion, let us now look at some aspects that we should not do while participating in a group discussion. So first thing, we should avoid entering the conversation quickly. Suppose if you are not very comfortable with a topic, so we should wait and listen to what the others have to say about the topic, get a fair idea of the topic, and then collect information or try to form an opinion about the topic and then enter the discussion. So we should wait for the others to communicate and then enter the group discussion rather than in a haste enter the discussion, and it might be a very negative approach. Then next is we should avoid um, you know deviating from the topic. Most of the time, whatever topic is given to us, we tend to move from the away from the track because we have some other ideas related to other topic, and thus we are forcing others to also look at the topic from a different perspective. So if you deviate from the topic, there is a possibility that you might be rejected by the evaluators. The entire group might be rejected if someone does not take the initiative to bring back all the members into the particular topic. Then we should avoid repeating information or avoid repeating the points over and over again with different examples. We should also avoid loud gestures because we are in a group and we are facing each other, so loud gestures are not required. And of course, we should avoid interrupting others. That is, when a person is speaking, we should not interrupt the person in between. Rather, we should wait, for the pauses that the person takes in between ideas or in between sentences, and then enter into the discussion. We should also avoid using false statistics, as I told you before, because in factual group discussion, this false statistics could be go against you and you might be rejected by the evaluators. Avoid showing insecurity. So when we are not sure about the topic, we do not have to indicate through a body language that we are not sure about the topic. So we can always, try and listen to what others say and then form an opinion about the topic. We should avoid showing negative body language. That is very, very important. And with this concept that if we keep in mind, we can participate in group discussions without any problems, without any difficulty. So one should try and prepare accordingly so that and practice accordingly so that you overcome all the problems that you normally used to have while communicating with other people around you. And when you know that there are evaluators will be looking at you or observing not only your communication skills but also your non-verbal expressions. So having said this, I would like to thank all of you for your patient listening.